Been picking up some comic books lately. Let's take a look at the haul coming up on this video from Bronxville Comics. Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronxville Comics coming to you with another video. If you like what you see, subscribe. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Now, I usually on Thursdays I do my 1990s top 10 videos, and I plan to do 1990s independent books next, but I'm kind of taking a pause because that requires a great amount of research, and I'm spending all my time, other than when I'm buying books, getting ready for the King Con show coming up in Island, New Jersey on March 19th. The entire comic book community of the Northeast will be out there. So if you're anywhere in the area, have the day free. Early bird tickets are 9 o'clock. The show is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. $5 admission. And even if you don't buy any books, just worth coming in and talking some comics if you like comics. And if you're watching this channel, I assume that you like comic books. In addition, follow us over on Instagram. We have just cleared 1,000 Instagram followers, and we're coming up close to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'd like to thank everyone for the support. I'm really kind of blown away that it's just like 9 months since I started the channel, we've gotten this many subscribers so far, and it's been quite a bit of fun doing so. So let's take a look. I just had started going to some local shows recently as things are kind of opening up again. I had taken a pause for the most part during the Winter Olympics because I was watching that, although I did have to go to a show to get some stuff. And I went to, I'm trying to think of the timing of this. I went to Colllectorfest in Wayne, New Jersey about a week and a half ago. And there were some good, actually these books, now that I'm looking at it, these books are from the Clifton show that was at the end of February. And I just picked up Mark Spector, Moon Knight with the Punisher there, a Batman Adventures annual. Some of these books were highlighted in my 1990s videos. Green Lanterns 50 and 51, where Hal Jordan becomes Parallax, Kyle Rayner becomes a Green Lantern. Miracle Man number 22. I'm going to talk more about Miracle Man in just a minute. Star Slayer number 3. This has, I think this is the second appearance of the Rocketeer. And then I was just picking up some random books that I didn't necessarily have. Somebody had some Detective Comics, so I was just picking up those. Another one of these Green Lantern books, picked that up. Black Orchid number 1. I'm kind of going hard on the Justice League Dark. I think that is going to be a series. And then one of the books that I had put in one of my videos for Marvel 1990s was Felicia Hardy Black Cat number 1. And notice, a 90s book. This is a newsstand. And this is probably a $30 or so book raw. So I figured it was worth picking up. I'll take a closer look at that. I am spending also a considerable amount of time pressing books and thinking about some CGC submissions. I already got my first box back, and I'm anticipating some boxes of big books coming back. I've been holding off on the purchase. I've been going to these shows, but kind of limiting myself to maybe about $100 that I'm spending, because I'm waiting to sell at King Con. I'm waiting to get books back from CGC. I'm paying CGC fees now, and those are not cheap. So these books, actually, I had a bunch of time free on a weekday just randomly, and I decided to take a trip down to Wayne, New Jersey to Zapp Comics. So I had a little bit of time available during the day to kind of take a little road trip to Zapp Comics in Wayne, New Jersey, a big comic book store that I've heard a lot of people talk about here in northern Jersey. So I'm gonna have about an hour.
At the light, turn left onto Valley Road.
So I'm gonna have about an hour to kind of dig through some back issues and see what I can find. So I just picked up some books. I was digging through their back issues for 45 minutes or an hour, the time I had to kill. I found this copy, issue number 2 of Anthro. This is a book, DC book from the late 60s. Anthro premiered in Showcase. He had his own short-lived series, and He was actually featured, I believe, in issue #1 of Crisis on Infinite Earths, because in that storyline they were taking DC characters from all across the timeline. This is an amalgam comics, and when DC and Marvel decided to blend a lot of their heroes, and I picked this up. This is Legend of the Dark Claw. This is the most sought after, highest priced book from that amalgam run, and that's a combination of Batman and Wolverine. I found a couple of adventure comics that I didn't have in my run. This is one of the later issues that I don't have, 376. And I think this actually takes me down into the 360s. I have every adventure comics from about 360 something to the end of the run. This was nice, 292. Always nice to find some sub 300 adventure comics. I know it's a run I will never complete because I'm never getting like the, the double digit issues, most of them. Then I just went into their bins and just grabbed, actually it was 4 even issues. Miracle Man from Eclipse Comics in the 1980s. 6, 8, 10, and 12. I'm actually missing 2 issues from the Miracle Man run. I picked it up back in the 80s, and it's a great read. If you've never read it, it's one of Alan Moore's earlier works in deconstructing the superhero mythos. It's based on a character that was published in Great Britain in the 1950s and 60s, so Moore would have read it growing up. When Fawcett stopped publishing Captain Marvel comics in 1953, it left a hole in the British market because they were publishing reprints of Captain Marvel. So what they did was they created a very similar group of characters. Instead of Captain Marvel, it was Marvel Man. And instead of Captain Marvel Jr. and Mary Marvel, it was Marvel Man Jr. and Kid Marvel Man. Mick Anglo was the writer and artist on those issues, and it ran for quite a number of years. He had a magic word that he used to change into Miracle Man. It was Kimota, Kimota, which is atomic backwards. We were in the atomic age now. And Moore deconstructed that when he wrote Miracle Man. And it's an amazing read. Now, we have seen in the Timeless Marvel miniseries a hint of Miracle Man. They own the rights currently. They didn't own the rights back in the 1980s when it was published in Warrior Magazine, a British publication, originally in the U.S. market in comic book form by Eclipse Comics. So they couldn't use the Marvel name, so they changed it to Miracle. So instead of Marvel Man, it was Miracle Man, and everything else was the same. So the problem was, as the print run went on and Moore left the book, it was increasingly infrequent. When the book came out, it was not predictable. So somehow I missed 2 issues. So I'm kind of, as a low-key goal, picking up, there are 2 issues in the 20s that I have to complete the run. So I wouldn't be surprised, since Marvel owns the rights now, that would be a very interesting Disney Plus series, perhaps set once they establish the multiverse in another, on another Earth. An interesting counterpoint to Shazam and Black Adam over at DC. They could really do something cool with that. I would love to see that. Talking about completing runs. This is funny. I picked this up. This was there. And I've been looking for this book. The last book I needed for the Secret Origins run, number 31, The Secret Origin, The Justice Society of America. I didn't have that, which is ironic because I'm a huge fan of the Justice Society of America. As a matter of fact, the day after I picked this up, I was doing a video with Joe from 360 Comics. We were doing a video where we were both opening our Comic Tom Mystery Mail Call boxes. And you can catch that over at his channel. I'll leave a link in the description. This book was in his mystery mail call. The day after I bought this one, it was just kind of funny. And then one other book I bought, $3. This might come out decent with a little bit of a press, is Shade the Changing Man. I'm going on Justice League Dark. I'm trying to pick up a lot of those books. You saw the Black Orchid #1. Shade the Changing Man was part of that. That's his first appearance in a book by Steve Ditko. And then last week, on Saturday of this past weekend, I went to the Bronx Comic Show, And this was the second time they had done the show. They did the show back in late fall, early winter. I think it was maybe in November. And it was a really great show. They want to have a show in the Bronx. It's about 20 minutes from my house, so it was really easy to get to. And I went, and there were a lot more people. More widely promoted, a lot of people from the community. Streetside Anthony was selling there. E-Rod was there. The Butcher from Breastable Defects was there. There were a lot of people, YouTube community there, and it was hard to get to some of the boxes. So I got there a few minutes late. I picked up, let's see, it's 3 issues, 7, 8, and 9 of Batman The Long Halloween, considering that's coming out. I picked this random $5 100-pager up. I'm trying to kind of low-key pick up all the 100-pagers that DC had at the time. I'm also big on Animal Man. I don't think he's been a member of the Justice League Dark, but I think this would be a nice follow-up series for DC to do after they're done with the Doom Patrol run, kind of in a similar adult, quirky, out there kind of vein, surrealistic. Adventure Comics, picking up some more of those. 336, I love this cover with all the roll call in the background. That's a really nice book, and it was priced great. Got a good deal on that. Mighty Avengers #1. That's pretty cool. Again, the new Batman movie coming out. I got this great Riddler cover. This was one of the books I looked at from the 1990s. As I said, I'm a Justice Society fan. I remember reading this story as a reprint in a Justice League 100-pager. I think this is the second of 3, but this is the Starman Black Canary team-up. Got a nice deal on that. And great Murphy Anderson art. It has the Silver Age debut of the Sportsmaster and the Huntress, who we saw in the Stargirl TV series. This later was retconned so that this team-up was around an affair that Ted Knight and Dinah Lance had at the time. Then I picked up this copy, not in the greatest condition, but Superman Batman 22, the first appearance in continuity of Terry McGinnis. I was at a table just picking up, I think they had 5 for $20. So I saw some stuff I liked. This great George Perez cover on Justice League of America. The Huntress miniseries, I think it's the first solo series with Helena Bertinelli as the Huntress. Justice League 13, written by Tinian with this alternate cover. Another variant cover, Justice Society of America #2, a sketch cover. And then Justice League of America 193, George Perez art in here as well. It's a retelling, reimagining of the origin of Red Tornado, and it's also the insert preview for All-Star Squadron. Love me some All-Star Squadron. Then I picked up this book. This is in kind of lower grade condition. I think it's got some tape on the spine, but it was $5, and I've been picking up this book quite a bit. It's Justice League of America 110. It's a 100-pager, but there's a hidden significance here not a lot of people know about. It is the second appearance of John Stewart as Green Lantern. He takes over for Hal Jordan in this story when Santa Claus is murdered. And then I just picked up the rest of the books I picked up from Streetside Anthony. I'm like, what new stuff do you have in? I went through a box and just pulled out some cool stuff. He gave me a great deal. Secret Wars #3, Newsstand. Was that the first appearance of Titania? This was another book. I actually picked up a copy of this recently. It was on one of my 90s videos. It's the Batman and Robin Adventures Annual with Phantasm. First appearance of Phantasm. Flash, what is it? 92, first appearance of Impulse. I've been picking up a number of these books. We've seen her in the trailer. This is not her first appearance. Her first appearance is in Justice Society of America #1. That's Maxine Hunkel, Cyclone, who is the granddaughter of the original Red Tornado, who was in the Scribbly strip in All American comic books back in the day. She is going to be in the Black Adam movie, and this wonderful Alex Ross cover. X-Men 133, or New X-Men 133, the first appearance of Dust. I picked up a couple of copies of this, and this is another book I picked up a couple of copies of. It's both a first print and a third print of Batgirl #1. That has the first appearance, and I'm forgetting the character's name, but the character will be in the Batgirl movie, as Barbara Gordon's roommate. And it's a transgendered character, which is a first for the DC cinematic universe. We have seen Dream on the Supergirl TV show. So that was the stuff I picked up at the Bronx show. And then I went back to my old habits. For better or for worse. And I was looking on eBay for some good deals, and I found a book that I had been looking for months ago. It was on the hot list several months ago, and it's no longer on the hot list, so great time to buy it. And it's a hard book to find. I don't think it was highly printed at the time, but I looked. It was a seller with not a lot of feedback. Had positive feedback, but not a lot. It was kind of indicated they were selling their personal collection. And I looked at the pictures and kind of took the gamble, and I think it paid off. This is a pretty nice, I think it's like a 6570 of Strange Tales 169, the first appearance of Brother Voodoo. And I got this today in the mail. Really nice copy. It is a little bit tan on the inside of the covers, but very structurally pretty strong. Does need a press, but I think this is a book I've been wanting for a while. And it's one of those books, kind of look at the hot lists from like 3 or 4 months ago. And if you haven't heard about the book recently, it's probably cooled down. It's a lot more affordable than it was then, especially for an older book. Newer books, you know, the flavor, the weak kind of stuff, you know, that's not something I collect as much. I do like my Bronze Age books, and this is a really cool Bronze Age key. So glad to have that. I will probably press that and send that off to CGC at some point, but I have tons of books. I don't even know what's in these piles is going to CGC. I do have like 2 short boxes of stuff right now that I have to go through and press and clean and organize and send out, and I'm still waiting for more boxes back. I think when I do get a CGC box back, I will do another live show, and I'll probably do it that day at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That seemed to work out pretty well. That was a lot of fun doing that. So in the meantime, I'm going to, next week, my videos are primarily going to be preview of King Khan. And then probably the week after that, we'll get back to the top 10 lists, hopefully, after I recover a little bit from King Khan. And the, you know, we'll have a video on how that all went, that whole experience, my first time selling. That'll be great. So in the meantime, here, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos. Here's my CGC unboxing video, and here's another recent video I picked up of an eBay lot that I took a little bit of a gamble on. This one paid off. So this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.